Morning routines of millionaires. Start your day like the 1%. Have you ever woken up feeling like the day is already one step ahead of you? Like the moment your eyes open, your to-do list comes crashing in, and you're already behind? You're not alone. Most people start their mornings in a rush, hitting snooze, grabbing their phone, chugging coffee, and diving straight into the chaos. But here's the truth: the way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. And millionaires? They know this better than anyone. It's not about waking up at 4 a.m. just for the bragging rights. It's about owning your mornings with purpose. The wealthiest, most successful people in the world have one powerful thing in common: they treat the first hour of their day like gold. Not because they have more hours in the day, but because they've learned how to make each hour count. That's what separates them from the rest. In this video, we're diving into the real morning habits of millionaires, not the hyped-up, impossible routines you see on social media, but the simple, consistent actions that create clarity, confidence, and control. And the best part? You don't have to be rich to start these habits. But start these habits, and you just might become rich. Let's begin with the very first shift, and it's one that sounds simple but changes everything. Millionaires wake up intentionally. That doesn't mean they bounce out of bed with a grin on their face every morning. Some of them probably hate mornings too. But they wake up with purpose. They don't roll over and check Instagram. They don't get sucked into emails or notifications. Instead, they create a calm buffer between sleep and the rest of the world. So how do you do that? Start by setting your alarm just 20 minutes earlier than usual, not an hour, not 2. Just 20. That small window of time becomes your sanctuary. And in those first few minutes, do not touch your phone. Let the world wait. Instead, take 3 deep breaths. Literally. Breathe in, hold, and release. It sounds almost too simple, but that pause creates awareness. It tells your brain, I'm in charge today. From there, many millionaires move into something that might surprise you. It's not jumping into work or checking stocks. It's reflection. Journaling. Visualization. They take 5 to 10 minutes to think clearly before acting. Think of it like stretching your mind before sprinting into the day. Some write down their goals. Some simply jot a few lines about what they're grateful for. Others just close their eyes and picture the kind of day they want to create. This habit, no matter how it's done, builds what psychologists call mental priming. You're literally training your brain to look for opportunities, focus on progress, and filter out distractions. It's not magic. It's mindset. And over time, it becomes a habit that puts you on offense, not defense. Now, let's talk about movement. This one is non-negotiable for almost every high-performing millionaire. They move their bodies in the morning. And no, it doesn't have to be a 90-minute gym session. In fact, for most, it's not about building muscle or burning fat. It's about energy. It's about momentum. Think of it like this: when you move your body, even for just 10 or 15 minutes, your brain releases endorphins, boosts dopamine, increases focus, and lowers stress hormones. That early physical activity tells your whole system, we're alive. Let's go. Some do yoga. Others take a walk. A few go full on with strength training or cardio. But it's less about what you do and more about doing something. Even just stretching, shaking out the stiffness, or doing a couple of jumping jacks can give you that mental and physical spark to shift gears into action. And the more consistent you are, the more your body begins to crave that movement in the morning. Something else millionaires pay close attention to, though it's often overlooked, is what they feed their mind first thing. While most people grab their phones and scroll through whatever chaos the algorithm throws at them, millionaires protect their input. They curate their focus. They're intentional with what they consume in those first minutes of being awake. Some read a few pages of a book. Others listen to a podcast. Some simply sit in silence with their thoughts. But you'll notice a pattern: they avoid noise. They avoid the reactive stuff, emails, news headlines, social media rants. Because they understand that whatever you put into your mind in the morning shapes your thoughts for the entire day. So instead of noise, they choose nourishment. They choose ideas, clarity, vision. You might be surprised how just 5 minutes of reading something insightful or listening to something motivational can shift your perspective. It doesn't have to be hours of deep study. Think of it like breakfast for your mind. Feed it something that builds you up, not wears you down. Now that we've talked about setting the tone with intention, reflection, movement, and mental clarity, there's another element that ties it all together, and that's consistency. Millionaires aren't perfect. They miss days too. But they always come back to their routine. Because they know that success isn't built on extreme bursts of motivation, it's built on simple habits repeated over time. They don't rely on willpower every single day. Instead, they build systems that make those choices easier. And those systems start with a solid morning. So even if you've never considered yourself a morning person, that doesn't mean you can't become one on your own terms. Start small. Pick one habit. Own your morning for just 5 minutes. Then 10. Then 20. Build it like a muscle. Because every great day begins with a great morning. And every great life? That starts with one great day after another. Now that you've started to see how powerful it is to take back control of your morning with intention, clarity, and movement, let's keep building. Because here's the truth, what we've covered so far is just the foundation. The morning routine of a millionaire isn't about doing 100 things before 7 a.m. It's about doing a few key things well. With focus. With purpose. And next up, we're talking about something that may not seem exciting, but it's one of the biggest game changers, planning the day before the day takes control of you. Most people wake up and dive straight into reacting, answering messages, checking schedules, putting out fires. Millionaires flip that. Instead of starting with what others want from them, they start with what they want from the day. And this happens through something as simple as taking 5 minutes to map it out. Not just writing a to-do list. That's not enough. They prioritize. They ask, what are the 1 or 2 things that, if I complete them today, will make the biggest impact? Not 10 things. Just 1 or 2. They know that productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most, first. This kind of planning creates clarity. It keeps you from drowning in distractions. And it gives your brain a clear target. Whether you use a journal, a planner, or just a notes app on your phone, the key is to be deliberate. When you wake up and already know what you're aiming for, your day becomes focused, not frantic. Now, let's talk about a habit that separates the 1% from almost everyone else, and that's building in stillness. It might sound counterintuitive. We often think of successful people as always on the go, constantly hustling, filling every second. But the smartest, wealthiest people in the world? They know the value of pausing. Of being quiet. Of doing nothing. Meditation. Deep breathing. Sitting with a cup of tea and doing absolutely nothing for 5 minutes. These aren't luxuries. They're tools. Because in that stillness, your nervous system resets. Your focus sharpens. And most importantly, you learn to respond to life instead of just reacting. When you spend even a few minutes each morning in silence, no screens, no conversations, just you and your breath, you start to build something powerful, inner control. You stop feeling like life is happening to you, and you begin to feel like you're leading it. That's what millionaires cultivate. Not just wealth, but peace. Clarity. The ability to stay calm in chaos. Stillness in the morning also gives your brain space to breathe. So many breakthroughs, whether in business, creativity, or personal growth, don't come when we're doing more. They come when we're doing less. And millionaires know this. That's why they make time for stillness, because they know it pays off in better decisions, sharper intuition, and lower stress. And from stillness, we move into something that's incredibly simple but often overlooked: hydration. Yes, water. Before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else, many millionaires begin their day by rehydrating their body. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your body is literally dehydrated. Your brain needs water to function. Your muscles need it to move. Your energy, focus, and even your mood are all tied to it. It may sound basic, but the impact is huge. Drinking a full glass of water first thing in the morning gives your metabolism a boost, flushes out toxins, and jumpstarts your system. Some add lemon for digestion or a pinch of salt for electrolytes, but the point is, it's intentional. It's not about grabbing a bottle on the go. It's about treating your body like the high-performance machine it is. Because if your body's running on empty, it doesn't matter how great your goals are, you won't have the fuel to get there. Another morning habit that most millionaires practice, though you may not see it on highlight reels, is personal development. They don't just focus on making money, they focus on becoming better people. And that journey starts first thing in the morning. Maybe it's listening to 10 minutes of an audiobook while getting dressed. Maybe it's reading something that challenges their perspective. Maybe it's writing one lesson they've learned from yesterday. It doesn't have to be long or complicated, but the goal is growth. Tiny, daily growth. This habit compounds over time. Imagine how your thinking shifts if you feed your mind one positive idea every single morning for a year. That's 365 mental upgrades. And those upgrades show up in how you lead, how you communicate, how you solve problems. The outside world may not notice at first, but you will. And eventually, so will everyone around you. See, what makes a millionaire's morning routine so powerful isn't that it's extreme. It's that it's intentional. It's built around protecting energy, focusing attention, and sharpening their edge before they ever check a calendar or answer a phone call. There's a reason why people at the top, CEOs, founders, athletes, creators, guard their mornings like sacred time. Because they know once the day starts, the world gets loud. And if they don't take control before that happens, they lose their most valuable window for clarity and creation. So as you build your own morning routine, remember, this isn't about copying someone else's perfect schedule. It's about designing your own. Pick what resonates. Start with 1 or 2 habits. Stack them slowly. Let your morning become your launch pad. Because the difference between a rushed, reactive morning and a calm, focused one? That's the difference between surviving the day and owning it. By now, you're starting to see the bigger picture. Millionaires don't just wake up early for the sake of it, and they don't throw random habits into their morning because they saw it trending online. Their routines are crafted, refined, and, most importantly, aligned with the kind of life they want to live. They use their mornings to set the tone for their goals, their mindset, and their success. And there's one final habit that really pulls all of this together. Millionaires don't wait for motivation, they create it. And one of the most powerful ways they do this every morning is by reminding themselves of their why. Their purpose. The thing that drives them. This isn't some fluffy dream board kind of practice, it's a real moment of reconnection. Because let's be honest, even the most successful people wake up tired some days. They have doubts. They lose momentum. But what keeps them going, what fuels consistency, isn't discipline alone. It's vision. It's remembering why they started. Who they're doing it for. What kind of impact they want to make. You can do this in so many simple ways. Some people keep a mission statement by their bed and read it each morning. Others visualize the life they're building, the house, the freedom, the time with family, the ability to give back. Some just ask themselves one question: what do I want today to move me closer to? That one question can be a compass. And when you start your day with purpose, even small actions feel meaningful. When you stack that kind of mental clarity on top of good sleep, movement, reflection, and stillness, you create real momentum. And over time, that momentum turns into confidence. Not the loud, showy kind of confidence. The quiet kind. The kind that says, I've got this. I'm in control of my day. I'm building something meaningful. And here's something that often gets missed in all the productivity hype. Millionaires protect their mornings not just for efficiency, but for joy. They build time into their morning for things that feel good, that fill them up, that make them feel human before they become leaders, creators, problem solvers. Maybe it's 5 minutes of music while they stretch. Maybe it's sitting outside with a cup of coffee and watching the sunrise. Maybe it's playing with their dog, checking in with their kids, or just savoring a slow breakfast instead of rushing through it. That joy, that quiet happiness, grounds them. It's not wasted time. It's fuel. Because what's the point of building a successful life if you're burned out and bitter? Wealth isn't just about dollars. It's about freedom. And your morning is often the only part of the day you truly control. So make it yours. Fill it with things that energize you, center you, and remind you why you're doing all of this in the first place. And maybe you're thinking, that sounds great, but my life's a little messy right now. I've got responsibilities, a job, kids, deadlines. I don't have an hour in the morning to do all this. And you know what? That's okay. You don't need an hour. You just need intention. Start with 5 minutes. Seriously. 5 minutes where you don't touch your phone, where you breathe, move, or reflect. 5 minutes where you're not reacting to the world but choosing how you want to show up in it. That's how it begins. Not with perfection, but with presence. These routines aren't about being rich. They're about creating a life that feels rich, rich in clarity, peace, and direction. Whether you're chasing financial freedom, starting your own business, working a 9-to-5, or rebuilding your life from scratch, your mornings are your chance to anchor yourself in purpose. So let's take a moment to breathe that in. You have more power than you realize. Not just in the big decisions, but in the tiny ones, like how you start your day. One small habit, repeated consistently, becomes a routine. That routine becomes a mindset. And that mindset? It becomes your life. If you've made it this far, you already have what it takes. You're curious, you're willing to learn, and more than anything, you're ready to grow. Don't wait for the right time or the perfect plan. Just start. Tomorrow morning. With one habit. And when that one feels solid, add another. Build your routine like a house, brick by brick, habit by habit. And watch how the rest of your life begins to rise with it. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one habit you're excited to start tomorrow morning? Drop it in the comments. Let's inspire each other. And if this video helped you in any way, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and reach more people who need it. Don't forget to subscribe for more simple, powerful tools to build the life you want, starting from the inside out. Here's to better mornings, bigger dreams, and living life like you mean it. You've got this.